poster is Faster, Always Better, a subgroup analysis of the effects of speed on post-stroke gait biomechanics. So stroke is a leading cause of adult disability, and a majority of individuals, even at discharge from rehab, demonstrate a wide array of post-stroke gait impairments. Fast treadmill walking is a commonly prescribed and evidence-supported intervention that has been used to target gait speed in people post-stroke. The recent most clinical practice guideline by the American Physical Therapy Association recommends high-intensity treadmill training and fast treadmill walking as evidence-supported interventions for stroke gait rehabilitation. However, during fast walking, there is a concern that individuals with stroke may transition to the use of compensations such as the unaffected leg, the non-paretic leg, to generate force during the gait cycle, or to the use of proximal segments such as circumduction, trunk lean, pelvic hiking, and therefore it needs to be studied whether or not there is an opportunity cost to transitioning to faster walking speeds across the board for individuals post-stroke. There's also a need to more systematically parse out the interactions between speed and gait biomechanics or gait quality in people post-stroke. So the objective of this study was to analyze the effects of walking speed on people post-stroke and with respect to biomechanics of the paretic leg, asymmetry between the paretic and non-paretic leg, and compensations or gait compensation strategies. The methods involved a cross-sectional study on a group of chronic post-stroke hemiparesis individuals, an N of 14, and the table here shows the subgroup as well as pooled group data in terms of characteristics of these stroke survivors. All these individuals participated in one session of gait analyses on a split belt instrumented treadmill and a 7-camera motion capture system, and a host of kinetic and kinematic variables ranging from stance phase, swing phase, and compensations were evaluated. The schematic here shows an illustration of selected gait variables that we evaluated for people post-stroke. And for all these variables, the individual was asked to walk at a range of 6 different speeds, starting with the first speed, which was the self-selected speed, to the fastest speed, that was speed number 6, and then 4 speeds in between. So as a result of this method, we collected short 15-second walking trials at a range of 6 different speeds with equal increments between speeds and customized according to each individual's baseline walking speed and ability. Our results, we're going to categorize them in terms of stance or push-off related variables. And starting with those first, I'll orient you to these graphs. Each of these graphs shows on the x-axis the 6 speeds that the individuals walked at, ranging from 1, which is self-selected, 6, which is the fastest, and then 4 speeds in between. We use numbers here instead of actual speed values because the absolute speed varied from one person to another. On the y-axis is the dependent variable, and then we have the black dots, which is the slow walking or low functioning individuals, so the slowest walkers in our cohort, and the blue symbols, which represent the fast walking individuals or high functioning individuals. For these 2 subgroups and across speeds, we wanted to ask if there's a main effective speed, a main effective subgroup, and an interaction. So the p-value shown between the groups shows that there was a between subgroup difference. The p-value shown on the right of the x-axis here indicates whether or not there was an effective speed within that subgroup. So for paretic AGRF, for example, which is a measure of push-off generation from the affected leg post-stroke, when we look, there is a difference between groups in terms of push-off generated, which is not surprising, but only fast-walking individuals or high-functioning individuals significantly increase push-off as they go from slow to faster speeds. Lower functioning individuals, shown in black, don't have an effective speed, and they don't seem to transition to greater use of the affected leg for push-off as they go from slow to faster speeds. For paretic leg TLA, shown in the middle panel, in contrast, both slow and fast subgroups showed a significant increase in paretic TLA with faster speeds, the same with power. Both subgroups showed an increase in power generation from the affected ankle as they increased gait speed. This panel here shows interlimb asymmetry in the same variables. So the difference between the non-paretic and paretic leg with respect to these three gait biomechanics variables. And again, very similar structure for these graphs. So for AGRF asymmetry or push-off asymmetry, we found that while slow walking individuals or low functioning individuals show a significant worsening of asymmetry as they transition from self-selected to faster speeds, fast walkers do not. They don't change their asymmetry and don't rely on the non-paretic leg for generating push-off. TLA asymmetry for both subgroups did not show any change or worsening with speed. Ankle power asymmetry did show a significant effect for the slow walkers. So again, there are these differential effects on gait asymmetry and on push-off, dependent on if the individual who's modulating their walking speed is a low functioning or a high functioning individual. And finally, the last array of variables here look at foot drop or swing phase ankle dorsiflexion at initial contact, and compensations, circumduction and pelvic hiking. So for both these compensation variables, for the slow walking individuals for pelvic hiking and both subgroups for circumduction, there was a significant worsening of circumduction and compensation from slower to faster speeds. Ankle angle at initial contact did not change with walking speed. However, for the low functioning individuals, there was a trend for worsening of foot drop as we transition from slow to fast speeds. So to summarize, we demonstrated that speed has a differential effect on gait biomechanics for low functioning individuals who are slow walkers in our subgroup versus high functioning individuals. And unlike high functioning individuals or a pooled data set, when we actually look at individual specific capacity for walking, there are differential effects of speed on gait biomechanics, gait asymmetry, and reliance on compensations. And these results suggest that there is a need to further individualize the determination of speeds for gait training, and also take advantage of a more data-driven approach to study how gait quality or biomechanics as evaluated here interact with gait speed or higher intensity during treadmill training. So future research also should look at more longer exposures to these ranges of speeds and incorporate a larger data set for these questions. Thank you very much. And I'd like to thank our funding sources and the references that we cited in this study.